damn, I've wanted to do this for so long. I'm just so tired of jumping between Premiere and After Effects whenever I want to use a simple wiggle effect, shake effect, transition, or some other thing. But it's just more convenient to do all that in After Effects. But now I've created a tool that lets you do all of this directly in Premiere Pro with a lot more effects. Let me show you now. So here's Premiere, and here's this tool that creates different shakes, movements, basically camera effects for anything you want, with a ton of customizable settings, all directly in Premiere. Man, I've been waiting for this for so long because doing this with keyframes in Premiere is just a nightmare. Alright, let me show you how it works. So here we are in Premiere Pro. First of all, since our effect is based on a MOGRT, we need to enable in the Windows menu, let me tell you, graphic templates. There it is. And here, you drop in our effect, which you can download. The link is in the description. So after you've dragged it in, place it onto the timeline. So, as you can see, we immediately see our effect. Awesome. By the way, visually, it actually looks pretty cool. So I quickly put together some usage examples, and I'm showing you how you can implement them. You can see them on the screen right now. And now I'll immediately show you some tricks I've learned and share them with you right away. So the first thing we need to do, we need to go to FX controls, or better yet, to properties. Here you'll find all the settings for our wiggler. And right away, here's a pro tip. If you have the free Premiere Composer extension from Mr. Horse, you can open this file through it. Just click on it and open Premiere Composer itself. The interface here is much more convenient and interesting for viewing and working with it, and I'll show you a bunch of cool features with it later. My creative library works on it, for those who know. There's a ton of sound design here that I use. But for now, let's go to Edit. We're actually starting to edit our MOGRT effect. The first thing we need to understand is that the MOGRT effect allows us to replace the contents of what's inside here. How is this done? Double tap, here we have this element, and you just drag in whatever you're interested in. For example, I have some file here for testing, I drag it in, and you immediately see the shake effect that I just applied. To control this video, you can of course zoom in and adjust all of this, manage the footage however you need, but to me it all feels a bit clunky and inconvenient. It's better to just double tap on our footage and we open up a separate kind of NES sequence, and here you can, I don't know, cut, edit, do whatever you need, but that's not the point right now. So how exactly can we configure our wiggler? The first thing you'll see is that there's a preset. Right now, by default, we have impact shake selected, but if you say click on the 10th one, the shake changes. So if I do it like this now, you see the shakes are changing. So we have a large number of presets, which you can also see on the screen right now. I've grouped them into 3 categories. These are standard presets, then impact shakes, and camera movement, like for interviews or similar types of content to imitate camera shake. So the presets are already there. Next, we can control the intensity of the preset. For example, I want it to be stronger, or on the contrary, less intense, as you can see. And accordingly, the impact is much less, as you can notice, which I think is really cool. At the moment, this is the second version. I'm still developing all of this. And if you have any ideas right away on how to improve it or what to add, just let me know. And here, I'll jump ahead a bit. There's a special button, let me close all this, called Report Bug. You just need to scan the QR code and you'll be able to email me your suggestions for improvements right away. I'll take them into account and release the next version, 2.1, 2.2, and so on. So you can also control motion blur here. Let's reset it to 0, which means we can turn it off completely. We can see that our animation runs without any blur. If you look, you can see there's no blur at all. As soon as I turn it on, well, that's all pretty clear. The next really cool feature is start time. This is the time when your wiggler starts. Right now it says 0, which means the impact shake will start after 0 seconds because we selected the impact shake preset. But I want the impact shake to start after 1 second, and voila, 1 second and the shake starts. You can make it more intense if you want. Next, we have a little menu that lets you control the impact shake in more detail. So here we can add, for example, a light flash. At the moment of the shake, I think you get the idea. See, as soon as I do it, we get an extra light appearing. You can make it colored or you can make it black and white. Let's leave it colored. One really cool feature is that you can actually repeat any of our delicious shakes whenever you want. That is, so it's not just once, but for example, repeated 3 times with a 1 second interval. This is great for more precise adjustments if you want to set intervals for your shakes and make them into some kind of crazy edit. I think it would be awesome to set it to 0.2. Actually, let's set it to 10. Let's see what happens. I'm curious myself. 1, 2... Poor guy. In my opinion, this is a really important and cool feature for edits. By the way, there's a very interesting story about how this tool was created. The thing is, I was editing my last video about analyzing a Ukrainian show, and there was a topic about electricity, and I said it would be cool to emphasize that. I thought, damn, it would be awesome to add a shake at the moment of impact. I have shake presets, yes, they're in Premiere, but they don't let me control things like the amplitude, the strength of the preset, when it starts, when it ends, or how smoothly it finishes. I can't control all of that. And so this ended up growing into what you could call Wiggler 2.0. Again, the projects I create, the products I make, my goal, well, I don't even really have a goal. I do this for myself and just share it with you. So that's a brief and interesting story. And I think we can move on to the second stage of setting up this tool, which I believe is one of the most important. Take a look. We have the ability to customize the shakes. So, what brought us to the shakes? Transitions, camera movements, movement of objects, graphics, various motion elements, and so on. Anything you need to move, Wiggler will help you with. So, this can be customized individually. And what is special about individual customization? Now we need to select the custom preset from Wiggle. What can we do here? So first, in Wiggle mode, we can control what we shake, position, rotation, or both together. You can also control the axis. For example, if you select position and want the shake to happen not just in random directions, but along a specific axis like Y, that is up and down. Wiggle duration in seconds is the length of the wiggle. Here, it's especially useful that you can control how long your shake lasts. Let's say I set it to 3 seconds. Let's watch. And it smoothly fades out. Awesome! Besides being able to control the frequency, that is how often the shakes happen, you just adjust the frequency, let's say set it to 30, and now we've got total chaos happening. Bam! There, exactly 1 second. Awesome. The thing is, I've created a wiggler, and I want to loop this movement so that it's constantly moving, for example, constantly shaking really intensely. Here's what I do for that. I can set the start amplitude. Well, it doesn't really matter to me. Let's say I'll set it to 20. But the end amplitude is the final amplitude. Right now it was set to 0, so the movement went from the starting amplitude down to 0, which is why it faded out. But if we set the final amplitude to say 250, then our skater is in trouble. The image will keep shaking constantly. And this is done so that you can create the classic shake effect, or rather the wiggle effect. I always mix them up, which allows you to easily create camera shake, swaying, and so on. You control the settings with these parameters. And by the way, one of the important parameters is also the control shutter angle, which is motion blur. We can control this by lowering or by increasing it. And guys, here's another pro tip. I told you that it's very convenient to use the Premiere Composer, and that's for a good reason. Look, here's the situation. We've just created custom settings that we like. For example, if I want to save this as a preset, I don't know how to do it except with some workarounds. But thanks to Premiere Composer, you have the ability to save the settings you've made. You go to Preset, select Save New Preset, and name it My New Life with Wiggler Hello, just so you remember it. Why not? And now when we do Reset All, everything will return to the standard. The first impact shake will turn on and so on, and everything will be fine. But now we go to the presets, just select My New Life with Wiggler Hello, and now that's it, your preset is saved. Voila. Just voila. Guys, I'll be honest, I'm very happy with this tool. I made it again for myself, but I'm sharing it with you. The price of this tool is 15 bucks. I think that's a fair price because, for example, I checked out the competitors, well, the guys who made similar things. One of the popular guys is Shake Sauce, which lets you create transitions and similar motion stuff, but that's in Author. And its price, most importantly, is $27 per month. It's a subscription. And there's another guy, Tiny Tape, who has a similar effect, but for Premiere with more features, and his price is 150 bucks. That's why I set the price at 15, I think, for my people who edit edits, all sorts of vlogs, all kinds of challenges, any stuff where you need to use motion graphics, where you need to shake the screen. I think it's an affordable price. And most importantly, damn, I genuinely enjoy this tool. The link is in the description. This was Zoe with you. And now go shake your cameras.